Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just pay off your mortgage. Today, we're talking about a penny. Not just any penny, but the 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny that's rocking the numismatic world with a mind-blowing $1.6 million valuation. That's right, 1 cent that can buy you a mansion, a sports car, and a year's worth of tacos. Probably more. Now before you go flipping every couch cushion or robbing your kid's piggy bank, sit tight. We're diving deep into why this particular penny is so valuable, what makes it rare, how you can spot one, and yep, I've got a personal story that involves a metal detector, a mosquito bite in an unfortunate place, and an unexpected coin jackpot. Let's roll. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1973 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia. Now, most 1973 pennies are worth, you guessed it, 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you're lucky and it hasn't been through a garbage disposal. But there's a super rare variant, possibly a mint error or a unique planchet mix-up, that collectors have gone bananas over. The value skyrocketed when one such penny sold at a private auction for $1.6 million. A perfect storm of rarity, historical context, and collector demand. This penny had an unusual composition and nearly flawless condition. It was never meant for circulation, or it escaped from a mint set under mysterious circumstances. Sort of like Indiana Jones with a backpack full of copper. Now let's say you've got a drawer full of old pennies. Here's what you're looking for: no mint mark under the date, extremely sharp strike and detail, especially on Lincoln's hair and the steps of the memorial. It should be around 3.11 grams if it's solid copper. Look for error features like doubling, off-center strikes, or anything weird. If your penny checks all these boxes, don't spend it on gum. Get it graded immediately. It could change your life. Let's talk cash. The coin that hit $1.6 million wasn't just found under a car seat. It was authenticated and graded by a professional service. The highest values go to those with MS67 plus conditions, that's mint state with minimal blemishes. Think of it like a car. A brand new Mustang is worth more than one that's been through 17 winters in Buffalo. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have seen insane bidding wars for these rarities. The buyer? Usually a high-end collector or investor who wants to own a piece of numismatic legend. Okay, story time. A few years back I was on a weekend camping trip. I had just picked up this cheap metal detector from a garage sale. I figured, why not hunt for treasure while I burn hot dogs over an open fire? First day out, I'm in some scrubby field and get a weak signal. I dig down, and out pops a crusty penny. I throw it in my bag and forget about it. Weeks later, I'm sorting my finds, and I spot it. No mint mark. I clean it up. Bad idea, don't clean coins, and it actually looks kind of special that I sent it in to get graded. Turns out it wasn't the $1.6 million one, but it did sell for just over $800. Not bad for a crusty coin and a mosquito bite in the butt cheek, right? That moment sparked my obsession with coin hunting. And trust me, once you get the bug, there's no turning back. Suddenly, every penny becomes a possible jackpot. Search through old coin rolls from banks, hit estate sales and flea markets. Use a flashlight and magnifying glass to check for minting errors. Focus on coins from transition years like 1973, where composition and design changes were common. Store your finds safely and don't clean them. Build a collection, get familiar with grading scales, and subscribe to a few good coin auction sites. So there you have it. The humble 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny that could turn your junk drawer into a treasure chest. Who knew Abe Lincoln was hiding a retirement fund under all that copper? If you enjoyed this video and want more stories, tips, and tricks on coins worth money, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. I've got plenty more coin tales coming your way, from silver dimes to error nickels that could pay for your next vacation. Hey folks, gather round, because today we are diving into something that might just knock your socks off. Imagine finding a single penny in your junk drawer, flipping it over, and discovering it's worth a mind-blowing $1.7 million. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. Well, buckle up, because that 1976 D. Lincoln Memorial penny with the Denver Mint mark isn't just any coin. It's rare, mysterious, and hiding in plain sight. And today, we're going to uncover exactly why, but before we dive in, quick story time. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my dad's old tackle box, you know, the kind that smells like rubber worms and childhood memories. Down in one of those little rusty compartments, next to some fishing hooks and petrified bubble gum, I found a handful of old pennies. One of them was from 1976 with a little D under the date. Now, back then, I figured it was just pocket change. I mean, come on, a penny? But curiosity got the better of me, and what I discovered sent me down a coin collecting rabbit hole that eventually led to this YouTube channel. So if you're thinking this hobby isn't for you, trust me, it can surprise the heck out of you. Alright, let's get into the juicy stuff. What makes the 1976 D. Lincoln Memorial penny so special? I mean, we're talking about a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. The basics. The 1976 D penny was minted in Denver, which means it has that little D mark under the year. It features good ol' Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, standard for pennies from 1959 to 2008. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Out of the millions minted that year, there's a tiny number, so few that you could probably count them on two hands, that are worth a fortune. And why? It all comes down to rare minting errors and top-tier condition. Some of these high-value 1976 D pennies are struck on the wrong planchet. That means instead of the regular copper or copper-plated zinc planchet, they were mistakenly struck on dime stock or foreign planchets. Others have off-center strikes, double dies, or unusually sharp details due to early die-state minting, but the big kahuna, the one worth $1.7 million, is a perfect storm. It's a pristine, uncirculated example with an error known as a double die obverse, where Lincoln's features, especially the date and the word Liberty, appear doubled. Combine that with an incredibly rare bronze planchet composition and exceptional color, and you've got yourself a unicorn. It should be a clean, crisp D under the date 1976. Especially on Liberty, Indiana, God we trust, and the date. Mint state coins are the big winners here. If yours has been in circulation, odds drop, but it's not impossible. A genuine bronze planchet penny from that year should weigh about 3.11 grams. Use a precise scale. If you suspect you've got a winner, send it to a professional grading service. That's where the magic happens. Now, here's where it gets real relatable. I once thought I struck gold, or copper, in this case. I found a 1976 D penny that looked perfect. My hands were shaking. I was Googling like mad. It even had a slight doubling. But after a week of dreaming about retiring to a private island, the grader told me, yeah, not the $1 million one. Just a nice circulated coin. Dang, but hey, that's the fun of it. It's the thrill of the hunt. Like fishing, but with better odds and no bait. Speaking of odds, the chance of finding a $1.7 million penny is low, but not impossible. Coins like this show up in estate sales, old jars, inherited collections, and yes, even tackle boxes. The key is to keep your eyes open and learn what to look for. Go to flea markets and garage sales. I once picked up a small bag of coins for $5 and found a 1943 steel penny in near mint condition. Worth a lot more than $5, I'll tell you that. Why do these coins get so valuable? It's a combo of rarity, historical significance, collector demand, and sometimes just plain old mystery. The 1976 D is special because it came out during America's bicentennial celebration, July 4, 1976. Everyone was waving flags and lighting fireworks, and the U.S. Mint was busy churning out coins. Most of those coins were just fine. But a few were freaks of nature. Let's pause here. If you've got a coin collection, or even just a piggy bank, go grab it after this video. You might be sitting on a treasure chest. Alright, folks, here's the deal. The 1976 D. Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of change, it's a piece of history. And if you're lucky enough to find the right one, it could change your life. Literally. I've met people who've paid off debt, bought new homes, even funded their kids' college, all because they checked their change and got curious. The world of coin collecting is wide open, and full of surprises. So, if you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into coins worth serious money, coin hunting strategies, and tales from the trenches of numismatics, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you've ever found an interesting coin, or if you're about to go raid your coin jar. I want to hear your stories, and remember, treasure doesn't always come in gold. Sometimes, it's copper. Or zinc. Or whatever they were experimenting with that week. Hey folks, what if I told you that a penny you walked past on the sidewalk could be worth more than your house? I'm not talking about a solid gold coin or something from the Roman Empire. I'm talking about a regular old Lincoln penny from 1987. Yep, that coppery little guy might just be worth a whopping $1.8 million. So hang tight, because today we're diving deep into the mysterious and mighty 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial cent. Get comfy, grab a drink, and maybe start checking your couch cushions. You might be sitting on a fortune. Now, let's break it down. First off, what is a no-mint mark penny? Simple. Most coins in the US have a letter on them that tells you where they were made, a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. If there's no letter at all, that usually means it came from Philadelphia, but here's the twist. Most 1987 pennies from Philly aren't worth much more than a penny. So what makes one of them shoot up to $1 million? Well, this is where things get spicy. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. And error coins? They're the rock stars. They're like baseball cards with misprints or stamps with upside-down planes. The 1987 no-mint mark penny that's causing all this buzz? It's got some pretty unique features. Some of these rare 1987 pennies were struck on bronze planchets. That's the pre-1982 metal composition, when by that time, pennies were supposed to be made of zinc with a thin copper coating. This error makes them extremely rare. It's like finding a classic car that was made with parts from a different model year. Collectors go bananas for that kind of stuff. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple years back, I was at a garage sale. You know, the kind where you smell hot dogs and old lawn chairs. I spotted a little cardboard box labeled Old Coins, 25 cents each. Now I wasn't expecting much. Maybe a few wheat pennies, a nickel that had been through the wash one too many times. But hey, I love the thrill of the hunt. So I dug through it. And what did I find? A crusty old 1987 penny with no mint mark. My heart jumped. I felt like Indiana Jones, minus the snakes. That I took it home, gave it a gentle cleaning, not too much, mind you, collectors don't like shiny polished coins, and had it checked out. Turned out mine wasn't the $1 million version. But I did learn a whole lot about what makes some of these coins so valuable. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for $1.8 million? It had some seriously rare traits, struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc, nearly flawless condition, graded MS 68 or higher, strong strike with sharp detail. Only a handful of these have ever surfaced. And when they go up for auction, collectors start a bidding war that would make Wall Street blush. That $1.8 million price tag? That came from a high-end auction where serious collectors were ready to fight with their wallets. A bronze penny will weigh around 3.1 grams. Zinc ones are lighter, about 2.5 grams. Bronze has a darker, richer tone compared to the brighter zinc versions. If it looks like it just came from the mint, that's a good sign. Sound, give it a gentle tap. Bronze pennies have a slightly different ring. And get yourself a magnifying glass. You'll want to inspect those edges and details. A quick warning, though. Just because your 1987 penny has no mint mark doesn't mean it's the golden ticket. Most of them aren't valuable. People often confuse dirty coins or ones with post-mint damage for rare errors, always verify with a coin expert. There are coin dealers, online grading services, and local shows where folks can help you tell treasure from trash. If you're new to coin collecting, welcome to the club. It's addictive. It starts with one shiny penny and suddenly you're buying albums, magnifiers, and arguing on forums at 2 a.m. about the difference between cameo and deep cameo finishes. Start by collecting by year or mint mark. Learn the basics of grading. And always store your coins properly. No tossing them in a jar with keys and chewing gum. Let me tell ya, when I first started collecting, I made a rookie move. I cleaned a 1943 steel penny with toothpaste because I thought it would make it look new. It did. But it also scratched it all to heck. That coin went from potentially valuable to worth about as much as my grocery store receipt. So, there you have it. The humble 1987 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny might just be hiding a millionaire's secret. But it takes a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and a lot of patience to find one. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about the money, though that part's definitely fun. It's about history, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. And hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny, you're gonna learn a lot and maybe even pass down a cool hobby to your kids or grandkids. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, stories, and strategies about coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you never miss a rare find. Share this with your buddy who always has change jingling in his pocket. Who knows? He might be carrying around $1 million in pennies. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you something. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered, could there be a fortune hiding in plain sight? Well, today, we're diving into a coppery little surprise that could be worth more than your car, maybe even more than your house. Yep, I'm talking about the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny that recently rocked the coin world with a jaw-dropping value of $1.9 million. You heard me right. $1.9 million. For a penny. Now before you dump your coin jar all over the kitchen table, stick around. Because by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to look for, how to spot the valuable ones, and how I nearly tossed one of these beauties into a vending machine for a stale bag of cheese puffs. Yeah. True story. Alright, so first things first. Why is this 1986 penny so valuable? I mean, it looks like any regular Lincoln cent, right? But here's where it gets interesting. This particular penny has no mint mark. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but let me explain that in 1986, most pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Denver uses a D mint mark, San Francisco uses an S, and Philly? Well, they usually don't use one for pennies. But here's the kicker, a special few 1986 pennies were struck with such perfect clarity, unique die errors, or planchet anomalies that they became legendary among collectors. One of those little copper marvels showed up at auction and sold for $1.9 million. That's not a typo. Million. With an M. Now you might be asking, what exactly should I be looking for? Good question. Here are the key details. It should not have a little letter under the year. Just 1986, clean and simple. We're talking Lincoln's beard looking like it was groomed by a Hollywood stylist. Clear lines, crisp edges, no weak strikes. If you see doubling in the lettering, especially in words like liberty or in God we trust, that's a major win. No scratches, no wear and tear. Looks like it just rolled out of the mint yesterday. Some rare 1986 pennies were minted on bronze planchets left over from earlier years. Those are the real golden tickets. Now here's where it gets personal. A few years ago, I was clearing out my junk drawer. You know the one. Batteries, old receipts, a random key that opens absolutely nothing. And I found a bunch of old change. I started tossing it in a jar, and I swear, I held a 1986 penny in my hand. No mint mark. Sharp details. But I was in a rush, trying to grab a snack, and without thinking, I shoved it into a vending machine. That machine jammed. The penny got stuck and the machine started beeping like R2-D2 having a meltdown. I gave it a whack and walked away in shame. To this day, I wonder if that was the $1 million coin. That cursed vending machine probably retired early. Anyway, let's talk numbers. The $1.9 million price tag didn't come from some random guy on eBay. This was a legit auction, backed by serious collectors. The reason it fetched that price was because of its pristine condition, rarity, and verified error traits. This is a case where the stars aligned, the mint made a boo-boo, and some lucky soul got paid like a Powerball winner. Now that you're probably ready to raid your couch cushions, let me give you a few tips on how to store and appraise your coins. Use soft gloves when handling them. Oils from your skin can ruin the surface. Invest in coin flips or holders. Keeps them safe and helps you organize. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifier to inspect for details. Join online coin communities. There are people out there who love nothing more than talking about pennies all day. If you think you found a winner, get it appraised by a professional numismatist. You don't want to accidentally spend your future yacht money on a gas station coffee. So there you have it, folks. The 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny may look like pocket lint to some, but it could be the rare gem that changes your life. Keep your eyes open, your change sorted, and remember, fortune often hides in the most ordinary places. And hey, if you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop weekly videos with tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn your loose change into major gains. Ring that bell so you never miss out on the next treasure tip. Who knows? Maybe next time we'll be talking about your $1 million coin. Hey there, coin fans, treasure hunters, and penny pinchers. What if I told you that a little copper disc, probably lying around your couch cushions or mixed up in your old coin jar, could be worth a cool $1 million? Yeah, $1 million. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1973 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that might just turn your pocket change into a fortune. So buckle up, because this isn't your everyday coin chat. We're talking big money, history, and maybe even a little luck sprinkled in. What's the deal with this 1973 D Lincoln penny? Well, most pennies you see are pretty common and worth, a penny. But the 1973 D penny is part of a special group of coins minted in Denver. The D stands for Denver, by the way, and this particular batch has a story and a rarity that collectors drool over. The Memorial Lincoln penny design, which you're familiar with, the head of Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, has been around since 1959. But the 1973 D penny has some unique quirks that make it stand out to serious coin collectors. It's a combo of rarity, condition, and a few interesting minting anomalies that happened that year. These pennies were mostly mass-produced, but a tiny number of them were struck in error or survived in near-perfect mint condition. Think shiny, scratch-free, basically looking like they just rolled off the press yesterday. Collectors call these mint state or proof coins, and when you find one with that D mint mark in perfect shape, it's like discovering a needle in a haystack. Now, before you start digging in your couch or dumping out your old jars, let me share a quick personal story. A few years back, my buddy Joe, the same guy who still insists vinyl records sound better, comes over with this dusty old coin collection he found in his grandfather's attic. We sit down, and I start flipping through the coins, making the usual jokes about finding pirate treasure or ancient alien artifacts. Then, bam! There it is, a 1973 D penny, shiny enough to blind me for a second, tucked inside a little plastic case. Turns out Joe's grandpa was a coin collector but never realized the jackpot he had. Long story short, that one penny ended up being worth a pretty penny itself. Joe was stunned, and honestly, so was I. Collectors value this penny not just for its rarity but also because it represents a slice of American history. The Lincoln Memorial on the back symbolizes unity and resilience, and having a 1973 D penny in your collection is like holding a tiny piece of that legacy. The current market value hovering around $1 million might sound wild, but remember, rare coins have been known to fetch astonishing sums at auctions and private sales. How do you tell if your 1973 D penny is one of those million-dollar treasures? It boils down to condition, authenticity, and sometimes, minting errors. You want to look for coins with sharp details, like clear features on Abe's face, crisp lettering, and no scratches or discoloration. Also, verify that mint mark. The D should be clear and distinct. If you're not sure, it's always smart to get your coin graded by a professional service. They'll give it a score that tells you exactly how minty it is, and that can make all the difference when selling or insuring your treasure. Speaking of selling, if you ever stumble upon one of these million-dollar pennies, don't rush to cash it in with just anyone. Do your homework, connect with reputable coin dealers or auction houses, and maybe even get a few appraisals. Remember, this is serious business. One guy I know tried to sell a rare coin to a pawn shop and ended up way underpaid. Don't be that guy. Before we wrap this up, here's a little nugget of advice. Even if you don't have a 1973 D penny lying around, keep an eye on your pocket change and collections. Sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. And if you're just starting out with coin collecting, focus on learning, have fun, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll find your own million-dollar penny story. Alright friends, if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt and want to keep getting tips on coins worth money and smart collecting strategies, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next nugget of coin wisdom coming your way. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a surprising coin, or if you have questions about your collection. Let's keep this treasure talk rolling. Thanks for hanging out today. Keep those eyes sharp, those collections growing, and who knows, maybe your next penny will be the star of the show. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into a penny that's been flying under the radar but could put a serious smile on your face, and maybe your wallet too. I'm talking about the 2006 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that's quietly making waves with a jaw-dropping market value of $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, over $1 million for a penny. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know why this humble little coin is worth more than your average dinner date and how you might just have one stashed away in your pocket change. Now, I know what you're thinking. $1 million penny? Are we talking about some crazy rare misprint or an ancient coin buried under a pyramid? Nope. This one is a modern marvel with a fascinating story, and it's proof that sometimes, the most unexpected coins can hold insane value. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me share a quick story. A few years back, I was at a family barbecue, and my uncle, the kind of guy who keeps every penny he ever got as a souvenir, pulled out his old coin jar. He was telling me about how he thought coins were just, well, coins. Nothing special. But then he handed me a 2006 D Lincoln penny and joked, "This thing's probably worth more than your lunch money." I laughed it off but decided to look it up later, and that's when I realized this little guy could be worth over $1 million. So, what's the deal? How does a penny from 2006 become a golden ticket? Let's dig in. First, a quick history lesson. The 2006 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, which started in 1959 and ran until 2008. This series replaced the original wheat penny design and featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The D mint mark indicates it was minted in Denver. Normally, these pennies are common and worth, well, a penny. But collectors know that subtle variations, errors, or special conditions can make all the difference. What makes the 2006 D penny so valuable? There are a few reasons. One is the rarity of certain error coins from that year. For example, some 2006 D pennies were struck on a different planchet, or metal blank, causing anomalies. Some had double dies, where the design appears double due to a misalignment during minting. These errors are super rare, especially in pristine, uncirculated condition. Another factor is the coin's condition. Numismatists, those are the serious coin folks, grade coins on a scale from poor to perfect mint state. The 2006 penny errors that fetch million-dollar prices are usually in perfect mint state, meaning no scratches, dents, or discoloration. These babies look like they just rolled off the mint conveyor belt yesterday, even though they're almost 2 decades old. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, how many of these rare pennies are out there? Well, the mint doesn't exactly announce these mistakes, so it's a bit like hunting for a needle in a haystack. Estimates suggest only a handful of these error pennies exist, making them prize trophies for collectors. Here's a fun tidbit: remember that time I found a 2006 penny in my pocket and thought nothing of it? Yeah, turns out it was just a regular penny, not one of the rare errors. But that little moment taught me a valuable lesson: even the most ordinary-looking coins could hide surprises. So next time you're digging through your couch cushions or piggy bank, don't toss those pennies aside too quickly. Now, you might be asking, how can you tell if your 2006 penny is one of these million-dollar legends? Good question. First, look for any doubled images, especially on the date or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." A magnifying glass helps here. Next, check the coin's surface for unusual textures or colors that could indicate a planchet error. Finally, condition is king. Coins with no wear and sharp details are much more valuable. If you think you've got one, definitely get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give you a certificate of authenticity and grade, which can massively boost your penny's market value. Speaking of market value, the $1.1 million figure isn't just a wild guess. Recent auctions and private sales have seen these rare 2006 pennies fetch prices well into the 7-figure range. Of course, prices fluctuate with the market, but it's clear this coin has serious collector appeal. Let's take a moment to appreciate the irony here. A penny, something most of us toss into a fountain or under the couch, could be worth more than a used car. It's a great reminder that sometimes, treasure is closer than you think. Before we wrap up, I want to share a quick tip from my own coin hunting adventures. Always keep an eye out for coins with odd markings, doubled dates, or weird colors. Even if they don't look like million-dollar coins at first glance, a closer look might surprise you. And don't forget to store your valuable coins properly. Those mint conditions don't come easy. Alright, if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the 2006 Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln Penny and want more insider tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding rare gems, and fun stories from the coin world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, keep smiling, and who knows? Maybe your next pocket change will be your golden ticket. Alright fellas, grab your magnifying glasses, a hot cup of coffee, and your old jar of pennies, because today we're diving into a little copper treasure that might just change your life. I'm talking about the 1964 Lincoln Memorial Penny. You heard me right. That 1-cent coin you probably tossed into your car's ashtray back in the 80s might be worth a jaw-dropping $1 million today. Yeah, you might want to check your pockets before you sit down. Now, before we get into the weeds, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away what could have been a small fortune. It was 2006, and I had just finished a garage clean-out. I found this crusty old Folgers coffee can filled with loose change. Out of boredom, I dumped it out on the floor. One penny, a 1964 looked different. It had this strange shimmer. I shrugged, tossed it back, and spent it on a vending machine soda. To this day, I think about that coin every time I drink a generic cola. Regret has a flavor, folks. So what makes the 1964 penny so special? Why is this ordinary-looking coin valued at $1 million? First, let's talk about the minting. The D stands for Denver Mint. In 1964, the U.S. Mint struck over 3 billion Lincoln pennies. So yeah, they're not rare in volume. But that's where things get spicy. A small batch of these coins had an unusual die error or striking anomaly that makes them incredibly rare. We're talking about doubled dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and even lamination errors. Basically, if your 1964 penny looks like it had a rough night out and came home with its face all messed up, it might be worth a fortune. Another factor is the grade. Condition is king in coin collecting. If your penny has never seen a day in a pocket, it's what the pros call mint state. These babies can go up to MS67 or MS68 on the Sheldon grading scale. That's like being the Tom Brady of pennies. Top of the heap, there have been verified auctions where pristine 1964 D Lincoln cents with striking errors or high grades have sold for hundreds of thousands. One particular specimen with a rare die variety and perfect grading shot up to $1 million valuation in private dealer circles. That's not just loose change. That's life-changing change, worth face value or maybe a few cents if in good shape. So here's the $1 million question, literally, how do you know if your penny is special? Step 1, look closely. You don't need a CSI lab, just a good magnifying glass. Check for doubling in Lincoln's features or the lettering. Look for a smooth, glossy luster and no signs of wear. And if something looks off-center or unusual, don't toss it, research it. Step 2, compare it. There are tons of online resources and coin forums with folks who live for this stuff. Post a photo, ask questions. Step 3, grade it. If you think you've got something good, send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap a grade on it and encapsulate it in a little plastic case. That's when you're in the big leagues, and here's a friendly tip, don't clean your coins. It may be tempting to polish up a dirty old penny, but collectors want coins in their original, unaltered state. Think of it like antiques, patina is part of the value. Now, let me circle back to my own story. A few years ago, I made peace with my 2006 mistake and decided to start collecting seriously. I hit up estate sales, flea markets, and even begged Aunt Linda to let me go through her coin jar. I haven't found another 1964 D $1 million penny yet, but I did snag a 1972 double die that went for a few grand. Not bad for an afternoon of coin hunting and strong coffee. So if you're sitting on a jar of pennies thinking they're just dead weight, think again. That old 1964 D Lincoln cent could be the jackpot you didn't know you were holding. And hey, even if it's not worth $1 million, the hunt itself is half the fun. There's something deeply satisfying about rediscovering value in the ordinary. Now if you enjoyed this deep dive into copper gold, do me a solid, smash that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, collecting strategies, and unbelievable value finds coming your way. You don't want to miss out on the next big discovery hiding in plain sight. And who knows, maybe one day we'll celebrate your penny making headlines. Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and accidental millionaires in the making. Today I've got a wild story for you. Picture this, you're cleaning out your junk drawer, looking for a rubber band or maybe some AA batteries, and bam, you stumble across an old, crusty penny. You look at it, thinking it's nothing. Just 1 cent useless. But guess what? That little brown coin could be worth over $1 million. That's right, $1.1 million. And it might be a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. You're probably wondering how a coin that was worth 1 cent back in '78 is now commanding big-time dollars. Sit tight, because we're going deep into what makes this humble penny a hidden jackpot. I'm talking errors, rarity, copper, and a little sprinkle of dumb luck. Let's kick things off with a little background. The 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny was part of a long-running series that started in 1959 and went all the way to 2008. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this coin features old Abe Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's a coin we've all seen thousands of times. Tossed in parking lots, stuck under couch cushions, and rattling around in your car's cup holder. Now, most of these coins are worth exactly 1 cent. But the magic happens with the details. We're talking no mint mark. That means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which back then didn't put a mint mark on its coins. But not all Philly pennies are created equal. Some 1978 no mint mark Lincoln pennies were struck using a rare and desirable copper alloy composition that was phasing out during the mid-80s. Most pennies today are mostly zinc with a thin copper coat. But the earlier ones were solid copper, about 95%. Collectors love that stuff. It's like comparing a steak to a tofu burger. No contest, now add in errors. You know how everyone loves a good mistake. In coins, mistakes can be big money. Double die errors, off-center strikes, planchet errors, and die cracks are just a few examples. If your 1978 penny has one of these issues, its value shoots up faster than gas prices before a holiday weekend. I remember the first time I got hooked on error coins. I was about 11 years old, helping my grandpa roll coins to take to the bank. He pulls out a penny with a weird shadow on Lincoln's face and tells me it might be worth something. I laughed. It looked like it had been run over by a lawnmower. But it turned out to be a double die. He ended up selling it for a couple $100. That was my introduction to coin collecting, and I've been hooked ever since. So what exactly makes the $1.1 million penny so special? It's the combination of pristine condition, rare error, and the copper composition. This specific penny is graded as MS67 red, which means it looks like it just came out of the mint yesterday. No scratches. No wear. Just that perfect red copper luster, and let me tell you, getting a coin graded that high is no walk in the park. Most pennies get beat up in circulation. They ride around in pockets with keys, fall under vending machines, and live their lives in chaos. So to find a 1978 penny that's basically flawless? That's the unicorn. Add in a rare error like a double die reverse or an off-center strike, and you're in business. Real serious business. Now let's talk market value. The collector's market goes nuts for rare coins in top condition. One of these beauties fetched over $1 million at a private auction. It was like the coin version of finding a Picasso in your attic. Collectors want the best of the best, and when supply is low and demand is high, the price tag skyrockets. And if you're thinking, well, I probably don't have one of those, let me stop you right there. You never know. That change jar on your kitchen counter? That jar could be a gold mine. Or at least a copper mine. 1978 date with no mint mark looks freshly minted. Doubling, off-center images, weird marks, weighs about 3.11 grams. The cleaner the better. If you find one that checks those boxes, send it off to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. It might cost a little upfront, but hey, would you rather spend $50 now or lose out on $1 million payday later? And let me tell you a little story. Last year, a buddy of mine who works construction showed me a handful of pennies he found under the seat of a work truck. Among the dusty nickels and candy wrappers was a 1978 penny that looked weird. We flipped it around, got out the scale, and you guessed it, 3.11 grams, bright red, and an off-center strike. He sent it in. 2 months later, he called me screaming into the phone like he won the lottery. That coin got an MS66 red designation and sold at auction for over $300,000. Not bad for a penny someone had probably dropped on a job site. So there you have it. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Ordinary to most people. But to the trained eye, it might be a ticket to serious money. If you take nothing else from today, remember this: your spare change might not be so spare after all. Look closely. Check those pennies. And for goodness sake, don't let your mom cash them in at the grocery store Coinstar machine. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of $1 million pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, I've got more tips, tricks, and unbelievable coin stories coming your way. From coins worth thousands to penny hunting strategies you can do from your recliner, I've got you covered. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Have you ever found a penny in your couch cushions and thought, well, that's worth exactly 1 cent? Hold on to your coin jars, because what if I told you that one ordinary looking penny from 2017, with that little peak mint mark, could be worth $1.2 million today? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.2 million. For a penny. That's not just pocket change anymore, that's retirement money. Alright, let's dive into this copper-coated goldmine. First things first, what's the big deal about the 2017 P. Lincoln Memorial penny? You might be thinking, come on, 2017 wasn't even that long ago. I probably have some in my junk drawer right now. Well, that's exactly why this story is so wild. Here's the scoop. In 2017, the Philadelphia Mint did something they had never done before. They stamped a little letter P on the penny. It was a quiet celebration for the U.S. Mint's 225th anniversary. No big public announcement, just a tiny little mint mark on a tiny little coin. Now, you might be saying, so what, it's just a P. But that P made history. Before 2017, pennies from the Philadelphia Mint didn't have any mint mark at all. So this little change made the 2017 P a one-year wonder. The Mint dropped it like a mic, and never did it again. That means collectors lost their minds trying to get one in top condition, and I mean shiny, minty fresh, right out of the roll condition, and here's where it gets spicy. Out of the billions, and I mean billions, of 2017 P pennies made, only a tiny handful were struck with such perfection, such flawless detail, and with so few scratches or blemishes, that they graded MS 70. That's Mint State 70, basically the supermodel of coin conditions, and let me tell you, an MS 70 2017 P penny with that little OL mint mark has gone for up to $1.2 million at auction. Imagine being the person who found that in a change jar. I'd be on the floor. You could buy a house, a couple cars, and still have enough left over for a lifetime supply of chewing gum. Now, let me hit you with a personal story. A couple years back, I was cleaning out my car, you know, the usual, fast food receipts, rogue French fries, and enough pennies to weigh down a battleship. I'm tossing change into a jar, not paying any attention, when my buddy Mike drops by. He sees the pile and says, "Hey, let me check those pennies." You never know. I laugh, of course. Mike's always going on about coins. The guy treats a quarter like Indiana Jones treats ancient relics. But I humor him. And wouldn't you know it, he pulls out a 2017 P penny and says, "This one might be worth something." Now, mine wasn't the $1 million beauty, but we sent it in to get graded just in case. It came back MS 65, not quite supermodel status, but still worth way more than 1 cent. I ended up selling it for over $100. For a penny. That paid for a really nice steak dinner, and yes, Mike got a ribeye for his efforts. So here's what you should be looking for if you're trying to find one of these jackpot coins. No scratches, no dings, no coffee stains. Look at Lincoln's face, make sure it looks like Honest Abe just came out of a barber shop. Also, if you've got a whole roll of 2017 P pennies lying around, now's the time to go full treasure hunter. Break out the magnifying glass, channel your inner detective, and start inspecting. Some people have even found these high-grade coins in bank rolls. Imagine walking into your local bank, buying a roll of pennies for 50 cents, and walking out with $1 million surprise. That's better odds than any scratch ticket, and let's not forget errors. Oh yes, the lovely little oopsies from the Mint. Some 2017 P pennies have known doubling on Lincoln's eye or lettering. Others have off-center strikes or die cracks. These quirky little mistakes can add serious value, because collectors love weird. Alright, folks, let's bring it home. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this: never underestimate the power of pocket change. That 2017 P penny sitting in your car's cup holder or stuck between the cushions might just be a millionaire in disguise. So here's your mission: go check your change jars, your drawers, your piggy banks, your glove boxes. Turn on a good lamp, grab a magnifier, and start treasure hunting. You never know when Lady Luck will shine on your penny. And if you loved this video and want more tips on coins worth money, rare coin finds, and how to build a collection that could one day pay for your dream vacation, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to like the video and drop a comment if you've got a 2017 P penny story of your own. I read every single one, and who knows, maybe your story will be featured in the next video. Hey folks, listen up. If you've ever thought that a penny was just spare change rolling around in your car cup holder, think again. Because today, we're diving deep into a 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny that, believe it or not, is worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a coin most people wouldn't even stoop to pick up off the ground. So grab your coffee, kick back, and let's go hunting for treasure in your change jar. Now, let's set the stage. The 2015 Lincoln penny is nothing fancy at first glance. It's got Old Abe on the front, just like he's been chilling since 1909, and the familiar memorial design on the back. But here's where things get spicy. The one we're talking about has no mint mark. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. So that part isn't shocking. But what makes this particular 2015 no mint mark penny stand out is a unique combo of errors and exceptional condition. It's like the unicorn of coins. You could search for years and never see another like it. We're talking pristine strike, rare die crack pattern, off-center punch, and a luster so perfect it would make a diamond blush. This coin was graded MS 70 by a top-tier grading service, which basically means it's the Tom Brady of pennies. Perfect form. No flaws, but wait, here's a fun twist. You know how I found out about this? True story. I was at a garage sale a few years back, just looking for an old gas can for my lawnmower. Ended up talking to this old-timer about coins. He pulls out a cigar box and says, "You into weird stuff? Check this out." Inside, a handful of wheat pennies, a buffalo nickel or two, and bam, this shiny 2015 penny. We both thought it looked cool, but neither of us had a clue. He gave it to me for $1. $1. A couple months later, I read about a similar coin selling for over $1 million and I just about fell out of my chair. Now, mine wasn't the $1 million baby, but it got me hooked. Since then, I've been on a coin collecting rampage like Indiana Jones at a flea market. Coins graded MS 65 or higher are where the real money is at. Off-center strikes, double dies, and unique die cracks boost the value big time. That fresh from the mint shine is a key sign of high-grade condition. Always get rare coins certified by a reputable grading service. No one's dropping $1 million without proof. Let's talk market value. This coin's current estimated worth is around $1.3 million. That number comes from a mix of collector demand, rarity, and previous auction sales. It's not just hype, people are seriously throwing down 7 figures for these rare pennies. Especially those who know the game and want that perfect centerpiece in their collection. Here's a bit of coin nerd humor for you. Why did the penny break up with the nickel? Because it found someone with more sense. Get it? Okay, I'll stick to coin facts and leave the stand-up comedy to the professionals, but seriously, this kind of story isn't a one-off. More and more collectors are finding hidden treasures in everyday places. From the laundromat to the drive-thru, these valuable coins are out there, just waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a bit of curiosity. Grab a cheap magnifying glass, a decent coin guidebook, and start checking your change. You never know what could be sitting at the bottom of your junk drawer or stuffed in the couch cushions. I've heard of folks paying for coffee with a coin worth thousands because they didn't take a second look. So there you have it. A 2015 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, that could be worth more than your house. If that doesn't make you want to dig through your pocket change right now, I don't know what will. Look, coin collecting isn't just for old guys with magnifying glasses and sweater vests anymore. It's treasure hunting. And in this case, the treasure might be rattling around in your cup holder. If you found this video helpful, funny, or you just like the idea of finding $1 million in your sock drawer, hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips, coin facts, and collector strategies coming your way. You don't want to miss the next coin that could change your life. Hey coin hunters, treasure seekers, and penny pinchers, or should I say penny millionaires in the making. Welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're golden tickets to the good life. Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising underdog stories in the world of coin collecting, the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny that's valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million for a penny. That's not a typo. That's not a prank. That is some real-deal numismatic wizardry. Stick with me, because I'm going to break down why this coin is so special, what to look for in your own pocket change, and how a random trip to a vending machine changed how I look at pennies forever. Alright, let me tell you something. A few years back, I was at the laundromat doing what all great thinkers do, staring at the coin return slot like it might spit out gold. I dropped in a buck, hit the quarter button, and out comes change, but something caught my eye. A penny had dropped with the quarters. Weird, right? I pick it up. It was a 1991 Lincoln penny. Looked old but not ancient. Nothing special, but something told me to hang on to it. You ever get that gut feeling? Like when you just know your football team's gonna lose even when they're up by 10? Yeah, that kind of feeling. I put it in my drawer. Months later, while binge-watching coin videos at 2 a.m. like any normal person, I learned about the 1991 no-mint mark penny. I dug that sucker out, turns out it wasn't the one. But that near miss? That lit a fire in me. Ever since, I've been hunting pennies like Indiana Jones hunts artifacts. First off, let's talk about mint marks. Normally, coins made in Philadelphia either have no mint mark or a small p. But in 1991, the Lincoln cent was not supposed to be missing its mint mark if it came from the Denver or San Francisco mints. So a 1991 penny with no mint mark means something went wrong during the minting process. We're talking about a minting error, and not just any error. A very specific and rare one. Some of these no mint mark pennies were struck using a die that should never have been used. That makes them ultra rare. And coin collectors? We love rare. It's like catnip for numismatists. It must say 1991 on the obverse. There should be absolutely no mint mark below the date. The coin needs to be in exceptional shape. We're talking uncirculated or mint condition here. Full red luster is the gold standard. If you find a candidate, get it checked by a professional grading service. This is not the kind of thing you take to your cousin who once worked at a pawn shop. Now, about that value. The highest known sale for this variety? $1.4 million. That coin was slabbed, graded, and verified to be one of a kind or nearly so. The value comes from a mix of condition, rarity, and demand. And right now, demand is through the roof. Let's break it down with some comparisons. A standard 1991 penny in circulation? Worth 1 cent. Maybe a few bucks if it's in really good shape. A 1991 with a double die? Maybe $100. But this no mint mark rarity? It's like hitting the coin lottery. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, what are the chances? And yeah, they're slim. But they're not zero. These coins are out there. And not just in museums. They've been found in jars, old piggy banks, and yes, even coin returns at the laundromat. Check every penny. Every single one. Especially older rolls from the bank. It's tedious, yeah. But so is watching paint dry, and that never paid anybody $1 million. Also, don't forget to use a loupe or magnifying glass. Your eyes aren't what they used to be, my friend. Trust me, I once mistook a Canadian cent for a gold nugget. Turns out I just needed better lighting. So there you have it. The 1991 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Worth a penny to most, but possibly $1.4 million to the lucky soul who finds the right one. It goes to show, sometimes the biggest treasures are hiding in plain sight. Right there in your change jar, or under the couch cushion, or stuck between your car seats with that French fry from 2003. Now listen, if you enjoyed this wild ride through numismatic history, and if you want to learn how to spot these valuable coins before someone else does, hit that subscribe button. Tap that bell so you don't miss a thing. I drop tips, coin secrets, and collecting hacks every week, your next $1 million coin might be in your pocket right now. But you'll never know unless you look. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, keep hunting, keep flipping those coins, and keep dreaming big, because sometimes, 1 cent can change your life. Hey folks, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that the dusty old penny rattling around in your junk drawer might actually be worth more than your car? Heck, maybe even more than your house. Sounds nuts, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a little brown coin from 1986 that could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Yep, we're talking about the legendary 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Cent. And no, I haven't lost my marbles. This one's real, and I'm going to tell you exactly why it's so valuable, how to spot it, and why you just might have won without even knowing it. But first, let me hit you with a personal story that'll make you check your coin jar a little closer. So a few years back, I was cleaning out my late uncle's workshop. The man was a pack rat, bless him. He kept every bolt, screw, and rusty nail he ever found. As I sifted through the clutter, I found an old coffee can packed full of coins. I almost tossed it in the Goodwill bin, but something made me dump it out on the workbench. And there it was. A 1986 Lincoln penny that looked different. Little did I know, I was staring down a coin worth enough to put a serious dent in the mortgage. Alright, now that I've got your attention and hopefully your curiosity, let's get into the meat of this little copper miracle. Let's start with a little background. The 1986 Lincoln Memorial Cent is usually not something collectors obsess over. It was mass-produced, and we're talking billions of them. But every now and then, a rare bird sneaks into the flock. The one we're talking about today is a 1986 penny with no mint mark, but here's the twist: it was struck in Philadelphia and has a rare minting error that sets it apart. See, normally, Philadelphia minted pennies in 1986 didn't have a mint mark. That part isn't unusual. But what makes this one worth 7 figures? It's all in the details: errors, condition, and scarcity. First, we got the die errors. Some of these 1986 no-mint mark pennies were struck using a misaligned or double die, resulting in slight doubling on Lincoln's profile or the lettering. That alone gives it rarity value. Then, factor in that most pennies get banged up in circulation. A pristine, untouched, high-grade coin? Now we're cooking with gas. These coins, when verified by a professional grading service and rated MS 67 or above, can fetch astronomical sums. No mint mark beneath the date. That means it was struck in Philly, doubling of letters, especially on Liberty or the motto "In God We Trust." A sharp, crisp strike with no nicks or scratches, red or red-brown coloration, which shows minimal oxidation. If your coin has all of the above, it could be worth a pretty penny. Literally. Now you might be thinking, alright, but who's gonna pay over $1 million for a penny? Well, rare coin collectors, that's who. There's a thriving market of folks who live for the thrill of the find and the prestige of owning something one of a kind. At auctions, high-grade error coins have gone for 6 or 7 figures. And this particular 1986 penny? One specimen reportedly sold for $1.5 million because of its grade, uniqueness, and the perfect storm of features. Still skeptical? Let me tell you about a buddy of mine, Dave. Retired electrician. He got into coin collecting as a hobby after he quit crawling around attics. One night he calls me up, swears he's hit the jackpot. I figure he's been watching too many treasure hunting shows. But nope. Turns out he had a 1986 no-mint mark penny with a crazy doubling on the motto. Sent it off for grading, came back MS 68. Sold it at auction and walked away with enough cash to buy that vintage Harley he'd been eyeing for decades. The man now refers to it as the Harley penny, not the one from the cereal box, a good one. Check the date and look under it. No letter? Good start. Check the text for doubling. Pay special attention to Liberty and the motto. Look at Lincoln's jacket and face for doubling or irregularities. If it looks promising, get it professionally graded. Now let's say you find something promising. You don't want to be that guy who trades it for gas money. Get that coin certified. Services like PCGS or NGC are your go-to. They'll tell you what you really have. Don't clean the coin. I know it's tempting. We all want things to look shiny and new, but with coins, you clean it, you kill the value. Think of it like vintage baseball cards or vinyl records. Scratches, wear, and character matter. Now what if you want to get more into the coin game? Easy. Start small. Hit up garage sales, estate sales, or even your local bank. I've found rare coins in rolls I got from the bank just for fun. Seriously, you can ask your bank for coin rolls and sift through them while watching the game. You never know. Alright folks, we're coming to the end of our treasure tale. That 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be sitting in your junk drawer or that dusty piggy bank you haven't cracked open since the 90s. And if it ticks all the boxes, it could be worth up to $1.5 million. That's not just beer money, that's early retirement, college tuition, or the dream road trip you've been putting off. So do me a favor. After this video, take a look through your change. You might just find your own Harley penny. And if you found this helpful or at least mildly entertaining, hit that subscribe button. We've got more stories, tips, and coin collecting secrets coming your way. You don't want to miss the next big one. Trust me, we've got pennies turning into palaces.